Shalom. Call law y'all Bashim Al Shai Bashim Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone that taught us his truth, the 100% truth. Salutations to the Akim on the four corners of this earth, risking their lives each and every week on the highways and the byways. And to the brothers and sisters tuning for edification, coming with another lesson. And this lesson will be work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And this is just going to be a quick lesson through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you know. And basically, you know what I'm saying, going through this everyday walk and things that you go through in Babylon, it could be a challenge, you know what I'm saying. You could deal with a lot of things, and a lot of things they run through your mind, you know what I'm saying. You know, especially, you know, just being in this wicked world, you know what I'm saying. It can make you, you know, feel sick, sometimes feel down, you know what I'm saying? Especially, you know, the different situations that you occur on a day-to-day basis, you know what I'm saying, that you run into. And I'm speaking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you know what I'm saying? You the true Hebrew Israelites, you know what I'm saying, the Bible speak of, you know. We're not African American, we're not Mexican, we're not, you know, niggas, wetbacks, tomahawks. We not none of that. We not no color, you know, out of the crayon box. We the true people of the Bible, you know what I'm saying? The Hebrew Israelites, you know. Our forefathers is Moses, you know what I'm saying? You know, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you know what I'm saying? Ezekiel, you know. So we the true people, you know. And that's what's been told here on this. And it's one thing about our people that we don't know is we don't know who we are because we've been lied to, you know what I'm saying? And that's how, and our people love to accept the lie, you know what I'm saying? So when you look at the history, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't start at the end. It doesn't start when our ancestors got off these ships, you know what I'm saying, when they came to America, you know. During that time of 70 AD, we was in our own land, you know what I'm saying? We fled into Israel to escape Roman persecution back, you know, during the 70 AD. But our history extends all the way back, you know what I'm saying, way back before that time, you know what I'm saying? Plus, it don't stop just in, you know, Africa. It goes, you know, way past that, you know. That's why it's important, you know what I'm saying, to learn the history, you know what I'm saying? And then what happens is you start putting, you know, pieces together, you know what I'm saying? They say if you learn the history, you know the mystery, you know what I'm saying? So, and the scriptures speak about working out your own salvation, fear and trembling. And in its truth, you have to be very, very careful, you know what I'm saying, how you carry yourself in the public, you know. And when you start learning who you are, then you start carrying yourself a lot different, you know what I'm saying? Because look at it like this. If you was to get hired on a job, you got to represent that company, you know what I'm saying? You have to represent that company and be very professional about things, you know what I'm saying? You got to carry yourself in the right manner, you know? So in this truth, you have to carry yourself even more, you know what I'm saying, on a high level, you know what I'm saying? You have to represent yourself like you a king, you know what I'm saying? You know? In your kingdom, but we're not in our kingdom yet, but you still have to carry yourself like that. You have to do that amongst these people here, you know what I'm saying? In public and everything. You know? And you have to do that on a day-to-day basis, you know what I'm saying? That's why I say you have to, you know, examine yourself and look at yourself in the mirror. And you remember that song, Michael Jackson, he came out with a song, The Man in the Mirror, you know what I'm saying? Basically, You're taking a look at yourself, you know what I'm saying? You know, becoming that new creature, you know what I'm saying? Putting off the old man and correcting yourself when you're wrong, you know what I'm saying? Constantly grooming yourself, purging the things that are in you, and that needs to be taken out of you, you know what I'm saying? And the reason why we're doing that is because we're looking to be saved, you know what I'm saying? That's why I say you have to work out your own salvation through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's important, you know what I'm saying? So this truth is the most important thing that should come first, you know what I'm saying? Not the cares of this life, you know? Because really, if you look at it, man, Babylon, these people don't give a rat's about you, you know? And this, if you look at it, this is not living either, you know what I'm saying? Working to pay bills, constantly, paying taxes, you know what I'm saying? Every year, something that you don't even own, So you have to your main focus is on this truth, you know what I'm saying? And what much more is important is working out your own salvation, you know what I'm saying? Fearing Yahweh Shem Yahushua, doing what's right, you know what I'm saying? And we go to Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Yeah. And this is pretty much when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, you know what I'm saying? We Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, we was doing everything, the right way. We was doing everything good, you know what I'm saying? So how much more now since Yahweh Shai is in our absence, you know? So now we have to be on point even more, you know what I'm saying? We have to, acknowledge that, you know what I'm saying? You always have to get on yourself, you know what I'm saying? You have to get on yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because you're looking to grow in this truth, you know what I'm saying? Through the good times and the bad times, And you can't look at another brother, you know what I'm saying? You have to look at your own self, you know what I'm saying? Correct your own self. And the reason why we're doing that is because, you have to examine yourself on a day-to-day basis. Like I say again, like Michael Jackson sang that song, The Man in the Mirror, you know what I'm saying? You have to examine yourself, You have to want this truth, you know what I'm saying? And this truth is an everyday walk through the spirit of power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This is not no, part-time thing, you know what I'm saying? You have to keep on pushing forward, you know what I'm saying? This thing is a blood in and blood out, you know what I'm saying? Like the Crips, you know what I'm saying? Once you get in there, you can't get out, and this truth is precious, you know what I'm saying? And like I say, this is a serious matter. This is not a game, you know what I'm saying? Christians, they think, going to church, they just go to church, hit a pastor, you know what I'm saying? He just give a sermon and then they leave and then they just go back doing the same wicked stuff that they normally do because they're not worrying about working out their own salvation, fear and trembling. They're just worrying about the cares of this world. That's what they're worrying about. They're worrying about feeding their flesh, you know what I'm saying? They're not examining themselves, Let me go, examine yourself. Let me go to 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. Because when you look at the big picture, this is what you have to do. And Christians ain't doing that, man. They ain't doing that. They anti-Christ. You know what I'm saying? They're only worrying about the things that are pleasing to their flesh, But in this truth, we're trying to grow in all areas, in all aspects, you know what I'm saying? Now, it's a process, but hey, that's what Yahweh Shem Yahushua here and Akim and the brothers to help build you up so you can become, you know what I'm saying, yeah, built up in this and grow. So you can push this truth out, you know what I'm saying, prophesy down the downfall of Babylon, you know what I'm saying. So let me read 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. Examine yourselves whether ye be in faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and like the scriptures say, examine yourself because you want to make sure your faith is being built up. You know what I'm saying? Up in this truth. You know what I'm saying? So there will be times, in this truth, you're gonna get a little weary, but that's only because the Most High is testing your character. You know what I'm saying? To see if you're gonna be a reprobate in the Most High eyes. You know what I'm saying? Seeing if you're gonna go back to those old ways. You know what I'm saying? That old man. You know. And in this world, you're gonna be tested. In all different angles. You know what I'm saying? Because your flesh is gonna get weak. You know what I'm saying? At times. But that's when your faith is being tested. And that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? That's why you have to look at the man in the mirror and examine yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because when times get hard, your faith gonna be tested. And things is going that's coming real soon, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's coming real soon. That's why you have to separate yourself from this place, man, Micah 2 and 10, you know what I'm saying? That's spiritual, not physical, spiritual. And you have to, let go the cares of this world, you know what I'm saying? Your regular life, And in this flesh, you're gonna worry about all those kinds of things that is attached to this world if you love this world. You know what I'm saying? Especially like when you have to pay bills, you know what I'm saying? You have to look at those things and say, hey, Yahweh Shema Shai, he gonna take care of me. He gonna handle it. He gonna help me out in that situation. You know what I'm saying? You have to stay in the spirit and don't worry about that, Like in this truth, you know what I'm saying? Like when people play sports, they have a tunnel vision, you know what I'm saying? And that's what you have to have in this truth. You have to have a tunnel vision, you know what I'm saying? You have to stay focused and stay on the right track, you know what I'm saying? Because this flesh can get weak, you know what I'm saying? And that's why you need to pray to Yahweh Shem Shai to keep building your faith up, like Psalms 50, 11, and 1. I don't want to, butcher it, but, you know what I'm saying? You want them to keep that spirit on you, you know what I'm saying? In times of need, And like I said, it's time to take heed to this truth. And I'm really speaking first and foremost about myself, you know what I'm saying? It's a time where this truth right now is important because things are about to get wrapped up. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff going on in this world now, you know what I'm saying? But our people is turning a blind eye to that, you know what I'm saying? They just worrying about the things and cares of this world, like talking about concerts and sports and, the NFL and now the NBA is about to start. This boxing match coming up, you know what I'm saying? Who is it? Jake Paul and forgot Devontae Tank Davis. That's what our people is all about. Folly. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about they don't care about, working out their own salvation, fear and trembling. They worrying about what's going on now in this world. And they're the same people in pretty much all the captivities that we're in, you know what I'm saying? Same spirits that when we was in Egypt, you know what I'm saying? They didn't want to leave Egypt. They wanted to stay. And these are these same niggas, you know what I'm saying? They love it here, Let's go to 1 Peter 5 and 6 and we'll close out on that. 1 Peter 5 and 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time. Yeah, because in this truth, you're not in control at all. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have to cast all your cares onto the Most High. And like I said again, this world don't give a rat's about you. You know what I'm saying, at all. You know, you just another statistic, another number. You know, especially to Esau, Edom. You know what I'm saying. You know, the people who run this world, they don't give a rat's about you. You know what I'm saying. That's why we supposed to cast all our cares to the Most High. You know what I'm saying. All praises, call all Yah Bashim Yahshai is able to handle all our cares. You know what I'm saying. You know, because at the end of the day, your family don't care either. You know what I'm saying. They only care for what you can do for them, and that's it. You know, that's why you have to humble yourself to Yahweh Shem Shai, and in due time He'll exalt you. You know what I'm saying? Because most people look at us, you know what they do. They just look at us like we bums. You know what I'm saying? You know, look at these. They got dresses on. You know, they're out there yelling and screaming at people. You know what I'm saying? Scoffing and calling us all kind of different names, the brothers, the Akim on the four corners of the earth. But they don't realize that they market themselves. You know what I'm saying? You know, and we don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because we're here to work out our own salvation, fear and trembling. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at it like this: put your trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. You know what I'm saying? That's the most important thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, because we fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. We don't fear man. You know what I'm saying? Because we know destruction is coming to this place, you know what I'm saying? To AKA America, Babylon the Great, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, I wanted to make this short, you know what I'm saying? So every day we must look in the mirror, you know what I'm saying? Examine yourself. Because, you know, time's about to get crazy out here, you know. And every word that I've spoken in this video, I'm speaking about myself, you know what I'm saying? Examining myself every day, you know. Staying focused on this truth and trying to grow and build my faith up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's important to keep on building my faith so I can keep on trying to, you know, work on my craft, you know what I'm saying, to help me grow in this truth. So we got to be ready, you know what I'm saying, to deal with what's already here. And Jacob trouble is here, you know what I'm saying? That is already here. So at the end of the day, like I said again, you got to work out your own salvation, fear and trembling. You know what I'm saying? Each and every brother, you know what I'm saying? And speaking for myself and first and foremost. So no matter how you look at it, hey, this place is done, it's through, and now it's time to work, you know, even more harder on ourselves because things are about to get crazy. So I hope this was edifying. Just wanted to come with a quick lesson through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. I want to say Shalom. Call law Yahweh Shem Yahushai by Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone that rule and teach well, that taught us this 100% truth. Salutations to the brothers, the Akim on the four corners of the earth, risking their lives each and every week on the highways and the byways. And to the few brothers and sisters tuning in for edification. Hope this was edifying. This is your brother Dawada. Come on, another lesson. Shalom.